offered to do a polygraph test.
That is correct.
That already happened?
That has happened.
Right. And did you get results from that yet?
I do have results, and I don't know if I can share those results, but they were good in my favor. We'll say that.
You mentioned last time we chatted that you'd offered to do a polygraph test.
That is correct.
That already happened?
That has happened.
Right. And did you get results from that yet?
I do have results, and I don't know if I can share those results, but they were good in my favor. We'll say that.
One more time.
You mentioned last time we chatted that you'd offered to do a polygraph test.
That is correct.
That already happened?
That has happened.
Right. And did you get results from that yet?
I do have results, and I don't know if I can share those results, but they were good in my favor. We'll say that.
But they were good in my favor, I'll say that. First of all, no matter what the results of a polygraph examination were, your children are still missing. Passing a polygraph for the purpose of elimination should be a footnote when it comes to an innocent parent. Meaning, I have passed the polygraph, but that is not even important. That's not what I will be on TV for. Remember John Walsh, when his son Adam was missing. John Walsh took a polygraph. But did we know that at the time? I mean, most of you were probably not alive. But no, that was not something John Walsh went on TV about. That was a hurdle. That was for him to ensure that every power the police has, any resources, will not be wasted on him. Meaning, go out there and find my son. Because at the time, Adam Walsh was still considered missing. They had no idea he was murdered. And John Walsh definitely didn't know that. Now, of course, he must have known that statistically speaking, it didn't look good at all. However, it's not like Malaya said, as a mother, you always think the worst. May I say, as a parent, you always cling to hope. And hope fades last. And it fades when you are overwhelmed with evidence and strong indicators. But even then, unless it's 100% evident, parents can still cling on to hope. If they find remains and they will say, okay, we took the DNA test and it is your child. Many parents still say, no, we want a second test because human error is possible. And in this particular case, of course, in John Walsh's case, hope was what he clung to. So Daniel is not supposed to know what happened to the children. And when you are talking about your own favor, that is an indicator that these kids are beyond help. Only he matters. What he has revealed with this statement is that the polygraph has not been taken for him to be ruled out so that they can focus their efforts on finding the children elsewhere, but rather that he wants to be cleared in public. He wants to be considered innocent. And of course, when he says, I'm not sure if I can talk about it, I'm reminded of Chris Foot, who, always conveniently states he cannot talk about something when we're getting to a sensitive subject, like his mother, her potential involvement. But here, Daniel does the same thing. why would he not be able to tell us that he passed? And did he actually say that he passed? I don't know if they told him his exact results. I don't know if they told him the truth. I don't know if maybe it was inconclusive and they said, well, you're not guilty. It doesn't show that, it doesn't indicate any signs of guilt. But I need to add something to that as well. On YouTube, you will find so many videos from people giving advice on how to pass a polygraph test, and many people have been able to pass it. Sociopaths have an easier time passing a polygraph. And I don't think that Daniel is a sociopath at all. I also don't think that Chris Proudfoot is a sociopath, but I know, in my opinion, that Katie Proudfoot is one. And I can guarantee you that she gave him the right pieces of advice on how to do it. Because Katie Proudfoot, I believe, studies my videos. And not only mine, also Peter Hyatt's. And he was very detailed at times in his videos about the importance of the wording within a polygraph examination. So I'm really certain Katie Proudfoot paid very close attention, which is why Chris Proudfoot said, it's an open book cheat test. If you don't like the wording, you can change it. Which, by the way, if you have a real skilled polygrapher or polygrapher, that's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to just change it. And here he's going to say, okay, no problem. But maybe he's friends with some of these dudes at the place where the examination was taken. But you can probably, in many cases, change the wording and then say, listen, I don't like how it sounds. It sounds accusatory, blah, blah. You kind of shift it back into their court and say, no, man, you're trying to frame me here, and so on and so on. I want to, and they may even, they may say, screw it, man. I'm just, I'm not getting paid enough to deal with your BS. So let me just word it however you want it. There's so much human error everywhere. And there are, of course, the top polygraphers who would abandon it and say, listen, we can talk about it, but I make the decision what the exact wording was. Now, I am no fan of Dr. Phil, and I strongly encourage you guys, whenever you watch a real major case, to really take him lightly. Meaning, at times, he will be good. At other times, who knows? Maybe CBS got sued by Burke Ramsey, and then he is doing a special with Burke Ramsey for CBS. And I don't know, maybe he just has a desire. Maybe there is a benefit in him not laying it all out. Or he has a behavior panel on, as was the case in Summer Wells. And they got hung up on this stupid cornbread mafia thing. It reminds me of Green Hoodie, this BS in the Sebastian Rogers case. Just something to sidetrack people, just something to make it more exciting and get the idiots going. Because I believe that actually there was no foul play. There was, of course, the illegal disappearing of the body. But I actually do believe that when that woman, Candice Bly, was presented with all of these theories, that she started crying because everybody was really milking her daughter's disappearance, her daughter's death, as I believe, and I'm convinced. And if you saw the Chris McDonough interview at the Waterhole, it was pretty clear to me that she, misses her daughter, actually, even though she was one of the, what crappy parents. Yes, absolutely. But it doesn't mean you are necessarily guilty in this particular crime. So we always have to step back and remind ourselves it is true that everybody's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. And in statement analysis, every statement is going to be accurate until the subject talks us out of it. And here I want him to make a reliable statement that he passed the polygraph test, and he hasn't done that yet.
You mentioned last time we chatted that you'd offered to do a polygraph test.
That is correct.
Has that already happened?
That has happened.
Right.
That has happened. That is a reliable statement. That has happened. There is no doubt left. Yes, that has happened. And look how confident he is here. Yep, that has happened. Done, over with. Compare that to some of his other statements.
And did you get results from that yet?
I do have results.
Okay, I do have results. Maybe he got the results. But what are they? Well, he cannot tell us, right?
And I don't know if I can share those results, but they were good in my favor, we'll say that.
You mentioned last.
But they were good in my favor. Well, your children are still gone. Was it a challenge for you? Was it a major challenge for you to take the polygraph examination? Because it really sounds like it. If somebody praises too much the result of something that should only be a small hurdle in order to move forward full speed ahead with the investigation to find the children. No, you would say, I passed, right? And has it ever happened that police told somebody not to reveal the results? Yeah, maybe. It's possible. It's all possible, but why wouldn't you be able to tell us that you passed? Did they tell you anything? Did you ask them, can I share this? Or is it just now coming to your mind now that you're being interviewed? Because it seems to me from the very beginning, what Daniel Martell has been doing and is continuing to do is just reputation management and damage control. He told us how he hates being looked at in a negative manner. That is his priority. He doesn't want to be seen as the bad guy or somebody who potentially has something to do with it. Clearing his reputation. That is exactly what he just told us in his statement. No mentioning of Jack and Lily. Please, yes, I passed, but please, let's not forget my children are still out there. And in the big, huge perimeter where they have searched, nothing was found. So that tells me there is hope. There is hope that maybe they gotten picked up by somebody, or maybe, which would not be a good thing for children to be picked up by a stranger. But from his point of view, that would give hope that they are still alive. But he hasn't made the commitment to the abduction theory, and he hasn't called out to a potential abductor. And Malaya gave only one interview, but even in this one particular interview, she should have made it a priority to call out to whoever has her children potentially. And this dude had so many opportunities with all of his interviews to say, listen, bam, here. Anybody has my children. There's no evidence.